There you go, a bit of Crowded House for you and weather with you. It is 1:45 midday, coming up Livy and Chrissy at 12 o'clock. And they'll be able to tell us a bit about the show. Before then, my next guest is a Bristol-based special effects artist who's putting together a special tribute to his father's legacy of animation work. Terry Brain was a hugely talented writer, director and Aardman stop-motion animator. Perhaps he's best known for being behind the classic 80s kids TV shows Trapdoor and Stop It and Tidy Up. So I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by his son, Dave Brain. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Why did you decide to do this tribute to your dad and his work?
It wasn't me. It was a fan of his got in touch with me and said she runs the Bristol Puppetry Festival, which takes place over several venues in September. And she got in touch with me and said, I'm a huge fan of your dad's work. He passed away last year, so I think he's left a bit of a legacy. And so I'm helping out with her. Her name's Emma.
So he started back in those days when everything was pretty much done by hand.
Yeah.
So he did some of the Take Heart stuff, did he, with Tony Hart? He was right there at the very beginning?
Yeah, well, he did something. He wasn't Morph, but it was along the same sort of lines as Morph. Just a little bit. So him and his mate Charlie Mills just did a few things from home, I think.
And what can you remember growing up about your dad's work? Would he share his work with you? Were you aware of what he did, or was it something that went on in the background?
No, our house was covered in drawings and plasticine and everything. Yeah, the whole back room was just his little workplace, yeah.
And do you think that affected you? So you're doing some special effects work. Do you think he sowed the seeds of...
Yeah, absolutely. I was always fascinated as a kid seeing what he was doing. I never had the patience of what he had, so I never went down the stop motion route. But
it is interesting, isn't it? Tell us about the patience you needed to do stop motion, or still need to do, because some people still dabble with it. Why? How time consuming is it to make?
I spent a week with him once as a kid at Aardman. He was working on the commercial, and I think he did about 5 seconds work over the whole week. That's not for me.
Isn't that extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still like that now. Even with all this technology, they still spend so much time perfecting these shots.
So tell us the kind of things that you have worked on as a freelance special effects artist.
Mainly just clearing up shots, a lot of it. But I did the title sequence to Dara O'Brien's show on Dave Go 8-Bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's bits and bobs like that, little bits of animation, not quite as intense as what my dad did.
But it's high-tech stuff, and obviously the creative side of it is still there. So if people can't remember Trapdoor and Stop It and Tidy Up, tell us a bit about those shows.
Trapdoor was a show about a guy called Burke who lived in a castle, and he was sort of constantly irritated by all these monsters that used to live in his castle. Stop It and Tidy Up was a drawn animation on the BBC, and it was sort of disguised as a sort of how-to for kids, really, but I think it was a bit sillier than that. Yeah.
And were these your dad's? Were they Dave's idea, or were they a team
Terry?
idea? Sorry, Terry.
Yeah. So Trapdoor and Stop and Tidy Up he came up with his mate Charlie. They were his babies. Those shows.
Are they still shown anywhere?
I think they are. Yeah, they do pop up. They were shown all the way through like my childhood, repeat again. They do pop up all over the world still, I think.
It's interesting. If something rings bells with kids, it rings bells with kids across all cultures and time zones, doesn't it?
Yeah, and all the fan mail which we still see, they all say that they got their kids into it and stuff. Yeah,
it's interesting that it's appearing in a festival of puppetry. How is puppetry defined these days? What makes a puppet?
Well, I suppose so with all the Aardman stuff and the Trapdoor, it was all models, and they were sort of built the same way with the armatures inside, and rather than puppeteering by hand as live, it would take a bit longer than that, but still made with puppets essentially.
I noticed quite a poignant paragraph in this information I've been sent. Sadly, Dad chucked most of his memorabilia away. He wasn't very sentimental. Are you trying to resource it again?
Oh, absolutely. We're constantly on eBay trying to find all these things. We see pictures from the 80s of all these all this merchandise, cuddly toys and stuff.
Dad's.
Yeah, and he was very proud of it, but he just wasn't interested in keeping any of it at all.
So if people have got any,
we'd love to see it again.
We'd love to have them back.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to see it again, for sure.
Tell us when the actual event is taking place.
So the whole festival is over the first week of September, but the tribute to my dad is on Saturday the 2nd at the Watershed at 3 o'clock.
And it's called?
O'Globbits, a tribute to Terry Brain. O'Globbits.
Why O'Globbits?
And that was the catchphrase of Burke from Trapdoor. So.
Oh, wow. And rather interesting, I found out about you, Dave, as well as doing your special effects stuff, you work for the breast screening as well.
Yeah.
What do you do for them?
A bit of everything, really, from reception to organising the digital films, admin, clerical, everything but the actual screening.
Multitasking is what you do.
I've got 3 kids to feed.
So thank you, Dave Brain. Really good thing you're doing a tribute to your dad, Terry. That is on, what do you say, September the...
2nd.
O'Globbits, a tribute to Terry Brain. And the website, if you just go on the Bristol Festival of Puppetry.org website, that'll tell you all the events that are on.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming in, Dave.
Thank you for having me.